we was camped out on the plain at the head of Cimarron when along came this stranger, and he stopped to argue some. Well, he looked so very foolish when he began to look around, and we thought he was a greenhorn and just escaped from town. When asked if he had had breakfast, and he had not had a sniff, so we opened up the chuck box and told him to help himself. Well, he grabbed himself a beefsteak and some biscuits and some beans, and then he began to talk about the foreign kings and queens. Well, he talked about the Spanish War, fighting on the sea with guns as big as big steers, ramrods as big as trees. He talked about old Paul Jones, fighting son of a gun. He said he was the grittiest cuss that ever held a gun. Such an educated feller, his thoughts just come in herds. He astonished all us punchers with his jaw-breaking words. And he just kept right on talking till he made the boys all sick, and we began to look around for how to play a trick. Now, he said he lost his job out upon the Circle B, and he was headed across the prairie for a strike for 7 days. He didn't say how to come in, just some trouble with his boss. And he asked if he could borrow a nice fresh saddle horse. Now this tickled all the boys to death, and we laughed down in our sleeves and said that he could have a horse as fresh as he would please. So old Shorty grabs his lasso and he ropes the zebra dot. And he led him to the stranger and then waited for the fun. Now old Dunny was an outlaw. He had grown so very wild he could paw the white out of the moon. He could jump for a mile. But old Dunny would always stand there just like he didn't know until he was mounted and ready for the go. Now that stranger hit the saddle and old Dunny quit the earth. He went right straight up in the air for all that he was worth of falling and a squall, having a wall-eyed fit. With his hind feet perpendicular, his front was in the bits. Well, we could see the tops of trees beneath him every jump. But that stranger, he was growed there. It's like a camel's hump. He sat right up there on him and whirled his black mustache just like a summer boarder waiting for his hash. Well, he thumped him in the shoulders and he spurred him when he whirled, and he showed all us punchers he's the wolf of this old world. And when he had dismounted, once again up on the ground, well, we knew he was a thoroughbred, not a gent from town. The boss, he wasn't standing there watching all the show, and he stepped right up to him and asked him not to go. If you could use the lasso, like you rode the zebra done, then you're the one I've looked for ever since the year of 1. Well, he could use the lasso, and he didn't do it slow. When the cattle lay stampeded, he was always on the go. Now, there's one thing that's a sure thing that I've learned since I was born, and that's every educated fella ain't no plumb greenhorn.